so excited that you are entering your 104th year.
Oh, yes.
Complete,
That's true.
yeah,
Yeah.
complete 103.
Yeah, and there's so much drama around my birth because uh, my mother went into labor with me probably just about this time, and they were at the Taj Mahal.
Yeah, tell us the whole story. So good. Are you there? What happened? John, what's happening? Oh, oh, yeah, you have to, yeah, put do not disturb on your phone.
I thought I had it, but anyway,
Oh, well.
Go ahead.
Yeah, tell us
So,
the story. It's so good.
well, I don't know how much you heard that my mother, the whole family was up in the jungles where my parents were doing their medical work. And it was time for me to be born a week ahead of time. So my mother really had made arrangements with a friend of hers from medical school, Dr. Adelaide Woodard, and they were good friends. And she wanted Adelaide to be part of the birth. When I don't, the other children, that was another story. But with me, she wanted that this friend of hers be the one who was there. So we had to go from up in Roorkee, which was, I don't know how many miles away, but it was about a 4-day journey down to Fatehgarh. And so a week ahead of the time when I was supposed to be born, they left the camp and started down towards the hospital. Now that meant that my dad and my mother and me were in the front seat of a Model T Ford. In the back seat were Dar and Aya and my 3 siblings. Now, if anybody has looked at a Ford Model T Ford, that's not a lot of space. But anyway, they were packed in there and starting down towards Fatehgarh to the hospital. And they went 1 day's journey. And my mother's diary says John shot a deer on the way down, and no other comment. But what that meant was that they were stopping at what the British had built in the jungles of North India, these dak bungalows. They were houses where British generals and soldiers and missionaries and people who might be traveling through there would need a place to stay. And the only requirement with that was that when they left, they had to pay something. Well, it could be something in the way of a goods or something. Well, what my dad did was he shot a deer so that the people would have meat at that place after we left. And then they go on another day, and my mother says he shot 7 pheasants. So we left 7 pheasants at that dak bungalow. And the third one, I think there was a peacock or something that he left at that. So anyway, always the 3 days going down to the uh, hospital, my dad had gone out and shot something in the way of food for the people that would be, staying there and taking care of us while we were there. So there, there's all of these stories that go along with that. And then they get down into Agra, and my mother says something like, well, Agra, there's the Taj Mahal here, let's go see that. So they go to see the Taj Mahal. As soon as she sees it, she goes into labor. They get back into, but they had sent the cook Dar into the bazaar to get some food so that the family could have some food on the way in to Fatehgarh, which was 24 miles away from Agra, which is where the Taj Mahal is. So he's in the bazaar getting food. Mom goes into labor. She doesn't have time to fiddle around. They pack into the car and they take off towards the hospital. Dar comes back. He can't find them because they're all gone, and he has to run then to catch up to get into the through the wheat fields and the paths with carrying the food that he was doing and getting there in time. And he wanted to be there in time for my birth, and he made it. So that was a big story that he always told with great glee. And then the story that I didn't hear from my mother about this for years, and I don't know, she didn't tell me this part of the story. But Dr. Woodard had found a week before we got down there that she had an infected index finger, and it was a contagious infection that she had to find something to cover that index finger so that she didn't infect mom and me. Now, they didn't have any rubber gloves. They didn't have anything that would protect us. So she had to look around and look around. Finally, she found a child's balloon and she put that on her finger when she was helping with the birth. And that protected mom and me from getting this disease, which she died of 30 years later.
Wow.
Now, she had been doing birthings in this part of India for years with bare hands because she had no gloves, nothing to protect herself. And she had gotten infected by this disease, and she never, ever was, because at that point we had no medication or any process to clear it up. And she died 30 years later of that disease. Now, to me, that's this amazing woman who was my mother's friend, and the two of them, for some a reason, I don't know what made this sort of a contract between the two of them that I was going to be born there, and I was. And Dr. Woodard did what she could, and I never could figure out where she got the balloon until years later when I thought, it was probably one of the mission barrels that had been sent from the churches in the United States. And those mission barrels that they used to send out to the missionaries were packed with stuff that parishioners in different churches thought maybe they could easily just send for. Maybe somebody sent them back a bunch of balloons, and that's what I don't know. But this whole story has so many uh, parts to it that are part of the whole picture of how a birth can be um, sort of regulated with forces of the divine that go far beyond anything that we could make up. So that whole process was going on. So Dr. Woodard had to go to Calcutta after I got born because she was looking for a diagnosis and so on. And my mother began to hemorrhage. And my dad had to get the civil service, which was the British doctor, to come. My dad was working on it, but this civil service guy didn't know what to do. So my dad was trying to get the bleeding stopped. Now you realize they had no IVs, they had no blood transfusions, they had nothing to replace the blood that she was losing. This is after I got born. And so she had a postpartum hemorrhage, and Dad couldn't get it stopped. So they sent a telegram for Dr. Woodard to come back. She came back. She did a DNC, and my mom's comment is painted the uterus with iodine, no chloroform available. Now, you can imagine the pain that I mean,
Yeah.
it's almost unbelievable what she has in this little diary. Anyway, they got it stopped, but uh, mom still couldn't um, nurse me because then she developed postpartum sepsis. And so she was running a high fever. It may have been malaria, but she was sick. So my dad had to go into the bazaar to find something where they could get milk into me because there were no milk bottles. There was no, there was no way to do that. He found a little toy metal teapot, tied the end of a medicine dropper on that, and that's what I sucked buffalo's milk, diluted, out of for I don't know how long, but as long as it was necessary. And my mother was very ill for um, almost a month before she was able to go back home to Roorkee. It's a story that um, I'm every year when I go through this, I go through a period of awe about how this whole process was um, handled,
Mm.
because they had none of the of the tools that we have had since then in the process of helping with a birth. I mean, they just had to use what they had available, and they managed, and I managed, and and it was just a common family story. But when I try to tell it, it's a story that I'm in awe of. I mean, I just um, my mother had this little diary that she wrote in, and it would just be a word here and a word there, like John saw shot a peacock, and then from then on we had to put the story together. Isn't it something? I don't know. It's awesome to me, and I'm sharing it with people because I think that the way that birthing is such a divine um, privilege for us to move from being femifested for 9 months into the manifestation when we take our first breath,
Mm.
and how the life force within each one of us is working to make this what it needs to be. And this whole drama of my getting born, and each year I think, and I'm still here, this is to me so awesome. So I'm sharing it with you folks, not just to confuse you or uh, have you feel anything weird, but just a normal story of a birth. And every one of us have our own normal story of our birth.
Mm.
And it's such a privilege that we, for 9 months, get femifested as we're growing in the womb of our mothers, and then have to have the privilege of manifesting who we are when we take our first breath.
Mm.
Isn't that an awesome thing for us, each one, to cherish?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Somebody is saying, I could listen to you all day. I just love your stories. Please don't stop telling them. And
Thank you.
a newcomer is asking if you could explain what femifesting means.
Well, now therein lies a story.
That's right.
Okay. About, I guess, Katie, I guess it was about 3 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, it was.
I had a dream,
Yeah.
and I woke up, and I woke up where a huge crash. And when I got out of the dream, not completely, but in and out, I realized that I was in a valley in the high Himalayas, and on the right-hand side, there was a young woman sprayed out on the ground, just barely breathing. And on the left-hand side, there was a huge man in armor in the same position, just barely breathing. And the words came to me as I looked at these two energies have been fighting with their fists for eons. It's time that they opened their fingers up and understood their who and what they are, because they're killing themselves. And that was the dream. And I thought, now, yeah, this is something. But I realized that the woman was on the right-hand side, and that was the masculine side of our beings. And the male was on the left-hand side, which is the feminine side of our beings. And that this battle of the sexes had been going on for eons of time. And it was time to really understand that we had to work within our own being for the whole process to understand itself. That is, that within ourselves, there is the energy that is our life force, which has to be manifested when we take our first breath. So that was my dream. And I had a good friend that I could talk to about these things. And I called her Rosalie Deerhart. And she says, I've been thinking a long time about a new word that I think expresses this. And she says, that's femifesting. When we take our first breath, we manifest as who we are. But when we're in the uterus, when we're working with our mother, when we're growing in there, everything she eats, we eat. Everything that she thinks we understand. It's a process of growing within the womb of the mother, which she said, I've been thinking we need a new word in our language that's calling femifesting, because we femifest for however months, 9 months, 7 months, however months, and then we manifest when we take our first breath. And I think that's a lovely way of understanding the process that goes on within us. And in order to understand this, it's sort of like manifesting is climbing a ladder. You take, you get a degree and you practice what it is. You build a house and you live in that, you do something, it manifests. That's manifestation. And but how you get from the whole birthing process, the whole conceptual process into the manifestation act, or what happens when you manifest is femifestation, because from the time of conception, when the sperm and the ovum come together, that's and form the ovum, the fetus. From then on, we femifest within our mother's womb, but everything that is birthed within this earth of ours, for the thoughts or things that are built or so on, they have to be in a process of femifesting before they can manifest. In other words, that is a reality. These two forces have to move together in order for manifestation to happen. And so it was a very good word for us to understand. It was for me, and it's helped me to understand a lot of the things that happen in our lives.
But you also talked about it in reference to a spiral.
Oh, yeah. And that I meant to say, yeah, thank you. The manifestation is Jacob's ladder, but femifestation is a spiral. You can be up on the fifth rung of the spiral and know what's going on down below at the second rung. You know what's happening. A mother can have a baby in her arms while she's doing the dishes and still know what's going on with the child on the floor. It's that kind of our understanding at different levels, which is not uh, the process of manifesting. Then you begin to be able to do what it is that is the manifesting part of our lives.
Yeah, manifesting to me in the way that you've described it feels just super linear.
Yes.
And whereas the femifesting is that sort of ethereal, flowy idea realm of existence.
Right.
And sort of that 5D reality as opposed to the 3D reality or 2D, 3D that we're in.
Yeah.
That's sort of how, I think about it too.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's we live in a world of duality, the positive and negative, day and night, good and evil, all that stuff. And so we femifest as we begin to understand that reality. And when we do, or when it becomes real in our lives, that's when we manifest. So it's isn't life amazing?
It certainly is. And it's amazing when you can, what I've really been working with lately is and I know that I've talked with you about this before, is that allowing and not grasping. I'm in creative transition with my office and my work, and it's just super easy to get into fear mode and start grasping at all these things. And so that feels like trying to hang on to Jacob's ladder.
Yeah, yeah. And not realizing that it's a process that
right.
You don't just get over, you have to live through it.
Right.
And the whole process that when somebody's going through something that's difficult, to tell somebody, oh, well, just get over it, that's not right. You can you can work with them and help them live through it, but to tell them to just get over it, to say, oh, well, just shove it in a drawer and don't pay no attention to it. And then it shows up 15 years later, or,
Right.
so, these are hidden things that we've, hidden uh, processes that we've gone through that we've not dealt with. And then they show up and they cause all kinds of different things that we have to then work through and live through. So if we live our lives in the moment and try to comprehend what it is that life is doing with us, it's another whole thing than trying to not experience the things that we are experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm double talking, but um, it makes sense to me.
Um, somebody just commented, I just realized I finally have a word for something I've noticed I've done many times and am doing right now. I've only judged it as procrastination, but it's not. It's me getting ready.
Right, right.
Yeah,
How lovely.
yeah, that's
Yes.
that is great. Uh, and Char Marie Studios says, "Love your amazing wisdom. I feel like I'm in a room with my nana.
Oh,
Love
oh.
you."
How
I
lovely.
know.
My Aya was just, uh, she was the epitome of love. She didn't read, she didn't write, she chewed palm. She was
He chewed what?
the beetle nut, it was,
Okay.
you know, and all of that. And she was the epitome of love. She would, I'd come up from school feeling broken and all that, and she'd say to me, Israel, come here. And she would stretch her chador out, and I'd call in under that arm, and until my world came back into order. You know, these people who are the epitome of love, and so many of them are just not recognized. I talked to a woman the other day, and she is living in a situation where the people don't understand that what she wants to be is a person who takes care of her home, who takes care of what's going on there. And although she has another degree, her heart is in her home, and she is having trouble explaining that to other people. And I think it's a lovely, lovely thing,
Wow.
you know?
Yeah. Was that, oh, well, let me just, somebody else has a question for you.
Okay.
My mom decided to not have me part of her life because I chose myself not participating in repeating family traumas. How can I heal and make peace within me? I love and miss my mom.
Continue to love her. Love overcomes things. She loves you still, but she doesn't understand you. And so it's her, not her experience, which is what knows what that was. She's had experiences which has shifted you into a position that she doesn't understand. So you continue to love her, do whatever is in your way, and it may be a silence, it may be doing nothing that she will really understand for a while. But if your intention is to reweave the broken parts of this fabric, it'll work. It'll come through. It may take time. It may take a lot of time, but that's your, you know, that's where you're, if you still love your mother and you are, don't know why she's feeling what she's feeling, it's it's a misunderstanding between the two of you. It's probably not anything but that, you know. She can't, you're talking English and she's talking uh, German, you know. You're
Right.
you're talking different languages, and until you can begin to get a word that slips in someplace, or get some act that happens, or somebody uh, says something, or a song happens, or life moves in some way to help you clear the air enough that you can understand each other's language. It's going to be a hard path. But I love what you're doing, because you're living through it. You're not just trying to get over it. She may be just trying to get over it by getting you out of her life, which you're not, you know. So hang in there, girl. This is a real understanding of what love truly is.
Mm. Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, that is so hard, and
Oh,
feels like that is that femifesting part of it, is just putting out that vibration of love
yeah,
towards your mother, and whether she can feel it or not is not up to you, really. It's, you know, it's up to her ability to take that in.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
uh,
and yeah, we can't we can't change another person, but
right.
we can shine light on their lives in a way that reaches them in their darkness.
um, Somebody is asking you if you have ever experienced depression.
Yes, I have. I
Mm,
was uh, when I started school, I couldn't read, I couldn't write. I was the class dummy. I was, my teacher thought I was stupid. The kids called me a dummy. They, you know, and I was really the class dummy. And so when I was for 2 years, I was had to repeat first grade, because it was I couldn't read or write. We didn't know what dyslexia was. We had no term for it, except for the fact that here I was. Now at home, my parents understood what I was, but they didn't understand what was going on at school, and they just accepted it. And surrounded me with love, and I had my eye on, and life was perfect at home. But at school, it was horrible. And for 2 years, I lived through that. And when I started third grade, I had a teacher who saw something in me that the other teacher had not seen. And so she appointed me class governor. In other words, she saw that maybe I couldn't read or write, but I could talk and I could organize and I could do a lot of things that that I could do. And so she allowed, uh, not allowed, she appointed me class governor, so that I could take what our class, which was the third grade, to the student body and present what we were doing in third grade. I mean, I was the spokesperson for the third grade. And there's other stories that lie on in that path. But the idea being that for 2 years, during that period of time, I was in a deep depression. And the only thing that really kept me going was I knew I had to get up that mountain and see my Aya, because she was sitting there and I knew she was there, and I knew no, it might be pouring down rain, but she was sitting there and I would get up there. So it's this ability to understand that that even in the darkest times, there are ways where we reach for what I'm calling our true humanity, which is the part of us that is here for a purpose, which each one of us have, and it's expressed in the way we live our lives. That's what's important.
Beautiful. That person is saying the woman who saw something in me reminds me a great deal of you.
Oh, yes. You know, because we're kind of saying this, talking the same language.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. Much love and gratitude to you, Dr. Gladys, and best wishes for a happy birthday from Canada.
Oh, how nice.
Yes, lots of all throughout while you're talking, many people are wishing you a happy birthday.
Oh, what a happy time.
Yeah, so beautiful. You really, you have lived, I mean, we've all lived amazing and rich lives. And you have such a beautiful way of articulating and remembering stories and weaving them together with meaning and purpose that really allows other people to benefit from and learn from. And so thank you.
I'm so grateful, that I've lived this long and been able to do the work that has presented itself to me. It's manifested so that I could begin to do it when we didn't even know what it was.
Somebody is saying, bless you. Oh, wait, it's going quick. Bless you. As I hear this story, I've got tears just rolling down my cheeks.
Oh.
We have a similar story. I only hope that one day I will be able to share our story with you. God bless you.
How lovely. You're living through it and working through it, and you're learning the lessons that your soul is bringing to you. And this might be a good time to talk about the 5 L's.
Yes, do
the
it.
First 2 L's are life and love. They can't exist without the other. It's like a seed in the pyramid. It's there with all the energy of the universe within it, but it can't do anything about it until love, in the form of sunshine and water and whatever, softens the shell enough that it can then manifest itself. It can manifest through that process of love and then manifest as life. And all the energy of the universe can be within where it was. And then so life and love, like the pregnancy, it's essential that they work together. They can't be separated. They can't live without the other. The third one is laughter. Laughter without love is cruel. It's mean. It breaks up families. It causes wars. It's just hard. But laughter with love is joy and understanding. It's the joy and happiness that we look for in life. The fourth one is labor. Labor without love is drudgery, you know. Oh, too many diapers. I've got to go to work. Life is so hard. And we just drag ourselves through it. It's just so hard. But labor with love is bliss. It's why a singer sings. It's why a painter paints. It's why I'm doing what I'm doing and Katie's doing what she's doing. And it's what, and we work 15 times as hard as we would have by just dragging ourselves through it. So that's the fourth love. Yeah, and the fifth one is listening. Listening without love is a lack of, well, it just clanging gong. It doesn't go any place. It's uh, what somebody has told you and you haven't listened, or what you're telling somebody with, and they're not listening. It just doesn't go any place. But listening with love is understanding. It's when a physician understands that the patient that they're working with has within them a physician that understands and connects with that. It's that loving connection that the the patient understands and works with. If they don't understand that, and they can't work with what the physician has said, that it hasn't been told. It's not even been heard.
Mhm.
It's just not understood.
Somebody's asking, what are these 5 L's for?
Life, and it's what, you know. I'll tell you what they're for. For years, I was trying to put some kind of structure into the things I was thinking, and finally, someplace along the line, my mind conjured up these 5 L's, and they make sense to me.
Yeah.
So,
No.
so I can live my life within the structure of these 5 L's.
And these 5 L's are also what your book is based on.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So somebody's about that. So yes, her new book, which is on this Instagram page, it's also on her website, which is
Yeah.
drgladysmcgarry.com, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, and you can buy the book anywhere you buy books. Um, and I'm just going to reply to a couple people have asked if this Instagram live is being saved. They all get saved, and they're all, I believe, in the IGTV. When you go onto the Instagram page of hers, you'll find them in there. Every single one that we've ever done is here. And then the ones prior to May, I think it was, are all on my page. So the older ones all live on my Instagram page. So you can find the other ones there. So they're everywhere. We've got them. They're just a little challenging to upload to YouTube. So we haven't figured that out yet, but we've got them all on Instagram. So
Isn't Katie smart? Katie, I love you. You showed up on my horizon when you were a kid, but then you came back and with this Instagram, and it's just been a joy.
it truly has been. It is a highlight of my week.
Mine too. Yeah, it's great.
Bringing tears to my eyes.
Yeah. Good tears.
Absolutely. Oh, Gladys, you are a treasure. Absolutely. The happiest of birthdays to you. I know that you are going to have a birthday lunch now. Uh-oh, you've been muted. Keep talking. Let me see if I can hear your voice. Oh, maybe somebody's calling. Did somebody call in?
Wow.
People are wishing you happy birthday.
Oh,
So many happy birthdays coming in. And so I know you have to go because you're going out for a birthday lunch. So I just love you so much. And I'm so grateful for our time together. And
me too. I'm grateful for everybody that's listening.
yeah,
The world is a good place to be.
yes, it is.
Yeah,
Yes, it
she has
is.
on her birthday shirt that says "Life is good."
Yes,
Life is good.
Yeah.
it is.
Something, shall we all sing happy birthday? Well, we could all sing it simultaneously in your own home.
Yes.
Uh, so have a fantastic rest of your day, and
Thank you.
so much love. Everyone is sending you so much love on the. If you could see the scrolling that's happening on the Instagram,
Oh,
sending you heart and happy birthday, and so it is. There
thank
is just a
you.
lot of good energy coming your way.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
The whole
Uh,
side of her. Oh, hold on.
yeah,
The whole side of her phone is exploding.
I'm sure it is. I am sure it is. So I will let you go. And we will be here next week, back to our usual on Tuesday.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Love you so much,
Love
Gladys.
everybody.
Okay. Bye.
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 The sun is still there.